Great day, everybody. Your presence is welcome here. Now, does your stash look like this? Do you want it to look a little more like this? I know, it's not much progress, but progress is progress. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight on how to determine this, but also a tool to help you. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so you got path loaded up. It shouldn't matter whether you have it loaded up or not. There may be an instance where you may have to restart it. It may tell you got to do that, but it should work either way. But basically, we're going to open up a tab here. I'm going to use Chrome. So if you got Chrome, use that so you can follow along. My searches may be a little different than yours, but you can basically just type in Exile Exchange 2. It used to be called Awaken, so you may be hearing people saying they're using Awaken. It's yeah, now it's Exile Exchange 2. And no, Exchange, not Exchanged 2. And then you're going to want it to download from GitHub, so you can put GitHub on the end of there. I don't know if your search results will be exactly the same, but these are basically what you're looking for. Either one of these GitHub links. It's the Cabin 7 Exile 2. If you find this one down here, it'll bring you right to the page. But if you find this, you can go, you click on it, and then the link will be over here on the right. And you can click that, it'll bring you to the same window. From there, you're going to pick your operating system, Windows 10 on here. And then as this pulls up, you will click that and you'll click it to install. If for some reason it's not coming up there, you can go to your downloads and it should be in there. And then you just click on that. It may want you to run it as administrator. If you got to do that, right click on Windows, run as administrator, left click that, and it'll run it like that. Once it's running, it'll ask you to run it. If you want to run it, keep the box ticked, run it. It'll make a little icon, which I get rid of, and then it'll show up down here. So you'll have this down here. Once that's down there, then you know it's running. And then you can go to settings and league. It'll tell you right here, you got to press shift and space. And I'm going to leave I'm going to put something down here where you can see like kind of the hotkeys, and I'll just leave it up so you guys can see that. All right. So once you have that all set up, all you got to do, as I said, shift space, and it'll open up this thing right here. Now, if you want it to not minimize your screen every time, you just go to your options and you're going to put it on mode. You're going to go to full window, full screen is what you're going to want. Keep changes. Okay, save. Great. So that'll do that. I changed it because I was getting a little bit of tearing and, you know, lagging issues with the window full screen. So I had to go back to full screen, and I don't mind it like closing it because I'm usually in town when I'm looking at prices. But so shift space, here it goes. And then the very top left, you're going to click that gear wheel. And then you're going to come here to price check on the left here. You're going to click on Runes of Aldir if that's what you're in, or you're going to hit standard, hardcore, whatever you're in that you're trying to like look up. And then you will have to, that's for private league, the next thing. So unless you're in a private league, then you would put that in there. And then you put your account name. If you don't know your account name, you will have to go to the Path of Exile 2 website. So POE2, we'll go to the video game. You have to come in here and you will have to log in, and then your name will be right here. Like that's your username. It'll be up there. It'll tell you what it is. So if when you click up here, it'll normally have like a login thing. So you'll click on login, and then if you're through Steam, you click on Steam. If you're through whatever else, you just click on that, and you go through the process to log in. Once you log in, you should be able to see your actual account name for Path of Exile 2 there. All right, so then once you have that all set up, then you should be good to go. Leave all the rest of these, like leave this 10%, because this is basically just like, if you put in values, you want items that are around your thing. Like it's going to be very hard for things to be specifically what it is, but you can adjust these later. Some other features here that once you get more used to, you can toy around with. But I don't really touch anything under this. If it's on Chaos, I would switch it to Exalted though, just because that's more the dollar, you know, so to say, in Path of Exile 2. So it used to be Chaos Orbs more so in Path 1, Exalted Orbs in this. But once you have that all set up, now you would go in and say, yeah, you just have a bunch of stuff in your stash and you don't know if anything's worth it. but you're keeping it just because, you know, it rolled some decent stats on it and you don't want to get rid of it. This is just stuff that I haven't rolled yet, but you know, like I might look at this and then you're gonna hit, as I should have down here, you hit Control Alt D while you're hovering over the item. Now what it'll do is it'll bring up the main stat lines here in checkboxes. Now you can just search for exactly what that is, but if you do have like a little bit better of an item, like I have item here where if I, you know, tick all these boxes, I'll click all of these, and then when I go to search, there's 0. So okay, well, you know, that's not really helping me, so let me get rid of, you know, one of the lower end stats and see if there's anything that matches it. Still nothing. Okay, now what else wouldn't be that? Okay, cast speed, I mean, that's still great cast speed, but let me just see if there's anything with these damage types. Uncheck that. Okay, now I'm seeing some that are worth something. So then, okay, what if it had the increased attack speed but not the crit chance? And you kind of toy around with this and you can kind of see about where yours would be valued at. Now that's going to be, I will get more into that in another video when I actually show you how to like set up your trading tabs and all that. But basically what you're doing here is if you just want to clear out your stash, you know, it's just a mess. So if I look at something and I'm looking at this, my line, I don't only want to show you the tool, I want to show you the, like, my way of thinking, the process behind it, so that you don't end up with these bloated stashes with stuff that you forget about and then you go back to, and it's a disaster. So basically what I'm looking at this item, you know, I still got to roll it, but say this was fully rolled and I put all the stats in and I'm seeing there's a ton on the market that are exalted or lower. And then even if it is, you know, an exalted or 2, I mean, if I'm farming and I'm finding 10 exalteds like in a play session or more even, you know, if I'm finding 50 divines in a session and something's worth like 50 exalted where divine's like 100 exalted, like you got to kind of weigh that. Like, you know, I can find a divine in a couple runs. Is it worth trying to keep that item when I can just buy a better item for just a little bit of play time? But yeah, something definitely like this, if it rolled this, I would just say, yeah, just get this, you know, disenchant it, get the scrap for it so you can roll another item, hopefully get something better. The only exception to this is if you're hanging on to it for a specific character, but again, like, you know, if you have an end game character doing end game, you can, you know, like this costs 1 alchemy orb, like, you know, I can buy that for my character through trading on through the game itself for very cheap. I could take 1 divine and buy a ton of these style items. So the mentality is like, yeah, you want to keep a bunch of things because what if? But if you look on the market, there are a ton of these items. So, and they're very cheap to find. A lot of people are just throwing them up there, just trying to, you know, or maybe they, you know, again, like when I show you how to set up trading, some people will do that. They'll fill all their trade tabs with a bunch of stuff. They forget about it. It sits there forever. And like, yeah, every now and then it will sell if you lower them. But again, in another video, I will show you exactly how to trade and like the mentality process behind that to actually get things sold instead of just sitting on things for a long time just because you think they're great. If no one buys it, you're just wasting your time. And as the, you know, time goes on, those items get more or less rare because more people are finding good items. So you want to kind of move the stuff as quick as possible, but I'll get into that more later on. Okay, quick recap. So you download the Exile Exchange 2 from GitHub. Once you got that installed and all set up, you do your settings, you log in with your account and everything, and then you're good to go. You hit Control Alt D while hovering over an item. You see what it is, you highlight the best stats on it, and then you see how much it's worth. If it's not worth a lot and you don't really want to invest, you know, rolling it, or it is fully rolled, you know, disenchant that, get it out of the way. And that will help you clear up your inventory to make space for other things. Not only that, the analysis paralysis, it'll help you with that. You'll know what to spend your exalteds and divines on to roll because you'll have less options. One last tip before we go here is not really on the path end, but for your own sanity. Once you have the program in here, find it real quick. Exiled Exchange 2. You can find it just by typing down your search bar for Windows, and however else you would for Mac. I don't have a Mac right now, so I can't show you that. And then you'll just right click on it when it shows up, the app, and then just pin it to your taskbar, so it's right next to, you know, all your other stuff. That way when if you want to, because again, I wouldn't necessarily run this with other games, just because, you know, it might flag it as a third-party software. So, you know, you would want to exit out of that. Again, you would just come down here and we would just quit that and just make sure it's not running when you run other games. And then when you want to run it, you can just click on it down your taskbar. It'll run. Again, sometimes when you go to run it, it may not be working properly, or it might need a restart or something. So you just gotta, you know, exit out of Path of Exile, and then, you know, make sure it's running, then load Path of Exile. But again, I had the game running this whole time and did all that, and it should all still be working, so shouldn't be any issues here. And this is that. Okay, I was hitting the wrong thing. So yep, still working, and there you go. So I had it running the whole time, no issues. Well, that's about it for this video. I'm going to show you in another video a little more in depth about the trading, how to set that all up, because it's not that intuitive. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.